Our next presentation honors the women of Waianae for their exemplary community service and commitment to improving the lives of Leeward Coast residents. This presentation is made by Councilmember Pine.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Councilmember Pine.
Thank you so much, Chair. Aloha and good morning, everyone. I'd like to introduce the unsung heroes representing the women of Waianae, which is a nonprofit organization that provides annual scholarships to non-traditional students living throughout the Waianae Coast. If you can please raise your hand as I call your name. We have Karen Young, who's our president, Mary Ellen Apostle, who is the treasurer, and of course we have Senator Maile Shimbakuro, who no one loves the people of Waianae and takes care of them better than Senator Shimbakuro. And so I'm so glad that she came today, and she is the daughter of Karen. And of course, Karen and Mary are part of the founders of the Women of Waianae. The Waianae coast of Oahu stretches north to south from Kaena Point through the communities of Makaha, Waianae, Maili, and Nanakuli. This is where we claim to have the largest concentration of Native Hawaiians on Oahu. And we take pride in keeping the Hawaiian traditions of hula, surfing, cultural practices, and values, and the spirit of aloha alive. Yet the Waianae coast is also known to have high poverty and unfortunately high morbidity rates in the state. Karen Young is a registered nurse and has resided in Waianae since the 1950s. She attributes her success to Waianae High School counselor Ralph Onzuka, whose family still lives in Waianae. She'll never forget how we helped her get a 4-year state scholarship for school tuition and others needed things for her books and other school supplies. She was employed by the Waianae Coast Comprehensive Health Center as a nurse practitioner and later became an APRN. While working there, she witnessed the high poverty among her patients, which wasn't always obvious at first. Through her loving interaction with patients, she discovered things that surfaced after talking to them. For example, she heard of a child flunking kindergarten and someone not having just a quarter for the bus. Or sometimes while helping patients with diabetes who depend on medication, she once discovered that one of the causes of that for one of her patients was the fact that they didn't have a refrigerator to hold fresh food in it, so they often had to eat fast food. Another time, a young lady in her late 20s would come in with a physical complaint, and it turned out she was experiencing deep depression about her life. And after gaining her trust, she learned the young lady had to drop out of college because she didn't have part of her tuition. And Karen asked, well, how much is this tuition that you need? And the girl replied, $300. Karen was shocked that it was something that she could afford, but not the patient. So she wrote her a check and handed it to her. She realized, along with her dear friends, that someone outside of the private agencies could help people in her own community. And she became inspired. She was a member of a business and professional women's association were paying dues of $35. Karen soon learned that most of the money was going to a mainland parent association and that only $5 stayed in Hawaii. Karen and her dear friend Mary dropped out of the association, and they inspired their colleagues, Faith Arakawa and Rachel Enos, to consider starting another organization where the money they raised could go for tuition for college or trade apprenticeship programs. Soon, the small group of women began holding yard and chili sales to build funds to help non-traditional students, whom they defined as homeless, ex-convicts, victims of domestic violence, or residents who have just been out of school for years due to things happening in their lives. They realized that non-traditional students are a group of people who have fallen through the cracks, yet they are the ones that have to contend with so many barriers today, such as child care or transportation, or the formidable challenges faced with the new technology or poverty. The group of Waianae women named themselves the Women of Waianae, or WOW, and they now have even men in their membership. After many yard and chili sales in the 1990s, Karen and Mary Ellen had a small scholarship award to be given to a motivated mother of 2 who was struggling to fund her nursing academic goal. And they drove to her house and knocked on the door and told her that she won. And she'll never forget how that changed her life. The scholarship award provided her with an opportunity to not only complete her studies, but also help her community by working for a nursing home in Makaha as a registered nurse. Now, in 2015, 11 scholarships totaling $7,000 in funds were awarded to 11 Waianae recipients. But that wasn't all yard and chili sales. They added events like wine tasting, dinners, tea parties, and Christmas dinners as non-traditional applicants, and more of them came knocking on their door, and they didn't want to turn anyone down. Over the years of giving out scholarship awards, they have run into recipients who now hold various prominent positions in the community. They have deeply changed people's lives on the Waianae Coast. And on April 17th, the women of Waianae received the prestigious Hawaii Women Lawyers 2015 Presidential Award for its unique scholarship program targeting non-traditional students on the Waianae Coast. President Karen Young, along with several women of Waianae members, stood side by side with distinguished honorees in the judicial field, a recognition of the judiciary academia of the importance of their work and how they are changing communities. Now, therefore, the Honolulu City Council and the City and County of Honolulu takes great pride in recognizing the Women of Waianae organization for their outstanding community service in contributing to the quality of life for the residents of the Leeward Coast. And we warmly extend its best wishes for your continued success. Mahalo.